there, I'm Teresa LaBarbera, and you're watching Connecticut Style. We have a great show planned for you today. Coming up, from mood swings to pushing the limits, adolescence can be one of the most challenging times for not only your children, but your entire family as well. Today, parenting expert Bill Corbett has tips for raising respectful teenagers. And in his memoir, Sharp, David Fitzpatrick talks about his 20-year battle with a severe mental illness and what he did to reclaim his life. And I'm here in the kitchen with party hostess diva Liz Corbett. Liz, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So we're eating a healthy breakfast today.
We are. We're going to do some healthier options to the usual sweets, high fat. We're going to substitute that with some really good ingredients for some awesome muffins that'll fill you up for your day.
I love that. And the best part about one of these muffins, you can actually make in the microwave.
It is the coolest thing ever. One muffin at a time, make it in the microwave in less than a minute.
Can't wait to learn how. All right, let's start the show, Liz. Look right into camera 2. Tell everyone at home what they need to do.
Sit back and relax. You are having lunch with style.
I'm Scott Haney.
How are you?
It's nice to meet you. How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
What do you think of Middlebury Consignment?
Oh my God, it's incredible.
I've transformed an entire room in my house for less than what one designer piece would cost elsewhere.
Middlebury Consignment. Consignment and a whole lot more.
How's that billion-degree burrito?
I think he wants to know what you're having.
Wendy's Spicy Santa Fe. Plenty of heat without all that.
It's Wendy's new Spicy Santa Fe cheeseburger. The flavors of the Southwest on a cheddar jalapeno bun.
Now that's better.
The annual KAOUD winter clearance is finally here. Only at KAOUD Rugs can you enjoy deep discounts on all fine hand-knotted and power-loomed room-size rugs and staircase treatments. Every rug in our entire showroom is winter clearance priced to save you more. Searching on the net? Price it there, then buy it here at the best savings of the season. The annual KAOUD winter clearance event going on now at KAOUD Rugs, conveniently located in Orange and Guilford.
The last thing the insurance company wants you to do is call me, because I'm going to make them pay you a lot more than they want to. I'm Keith Trantolo, and I'll put the winning tradition of Trantolo and Trantolo on your side and the money where it belongs, in your pocket.
It's Scott Haney at Middlebury Consignment. Have you picked up things here that you know?
Absolutely.
What have you gotten?
I don't think I could go in one room of my house without finding something that I've gotten here.
Middlebury Consignment. Consignment and a whole lot more. Middlebury Consignment. Come spend the day.
Even though parents know their children are growing up, our next guest says it can be a challenge raising a teenager. Boundaries are pushed, patience is tested, and family dynamics change, and it all seems to happen overnight. Bill Corbett is a national speaker and educator and the author of the book series Love, Limits, and Lessons. He's here with advice for parents of teenagers. This is a tricky one, Bill, isn't it?
It is really tricky.
A lot of things are happening with teenagers, and it's almost overnight that they change, right?
It seems that way, and a lot of times they'll say, my kid's going crazy, and they're right.
Really?
From the sense that their brain is changing. There's changing going on in their brain, which you could, in a sense, you could say they are going a little bit crazy.
Is this hormonal?
There's a couple of changes. One is in the brain, and there's a region in the brain that begins to develop, which is where they take risks. Okay. How many times you hear parents of teens say, "What were you thinking?" And the teen
I still
says,
hear it. What do you mean?
And the teen says, "I don't know," because the region of the brain that gets us to take risks kind of overpowers what's known as the executive processing center, which tells us what we should and should not do. So it moves teens sometimes to do things that they knew they shouldn't have done to begin with, but they did.
Really? So they have an excuse.
That's right.
They have to just brush up on that. Peer pressure, does that play into things?
Oh, it sure does. The power of the peer is way more powerful than the parent, and this is why I tell parents in the years leading up to adolescence, you've got to build a foundation that they're going to rest on, so that when they're influenced by their peers, they can still rest on the relationship they have with mom and dad. That means you've got to cut down on the punishment. You've got to give them ample opportunities to talk. You want them to feel close to you. They can come to you for anything. And so that when their peers try to pull them into mischievous things, they'll know, my mom wouldn't want me to do that.
And that's what they should think?
Absolutely.
And follow through with?
Absolutely.
All right. I suppose teenagers are under a different sort of stress than adults are.
They are. One of the things that's going on with teenagers is, in order to progress to adulthood, where you and I are, they've got to shed their sense of being a baby. And that means, guess who's connected to that baby image they're trying to get rid of? The parents.
Sure.
And that's why they reject parents. That's why they say, I'm embarrassed by you. How about, don't drop me off in front of the school, drop me off around the corner, because they're now embarrassed that they have parents, because they have to shed that whole image of being a baby in order to grow to become a whole adult.
What's with the, I guess I'll say, obnoxious attitude that you sometimes see with teenagers? Not me, ever. But why does that happen? Well, I think it happens with everyone.
It does. It's part of the rejection of the adults. They've got to reject them. And it's also because, they don't like being around you when around the parents. Although they'll be around anyone else, just not the parents, because the parents are connected to that whole baby image part. And so the obnoxiousness is part of that, and also testing boundaries.
See how far they can get, right?
Absolutely.
Now, Bill, would you say it's different between girls and boys?
Yes, it is. The differences between girls and boys is very clear. Boys tend to separate themselves, especially from mom. They discover that mom's a girl. And that's kind of weird. And so they kind of separate. They're in their room or listening to music. Girls are more in their face, right? And so they're more stepping up to be heard and to create that separation through bantering and arguing.
And how long does this typically last?
Oh boy, it can start anywhere between 9 and 12, the ages of 9 and 12, and it can go on for many years, but every child is different. Some will break out of it after just a couple years, some may not until they're in their 20s. It really depends on the child.
All right, and what about when your teen is loving one minute and kind of just rude, disrespectful, hateful the next minute? Because that happens as well.
Yeah, well, you know what, preschoolers are like that. One minute they want to do it themselves, and then the next minute do it for me. Well, teenagers aren't too far from that. It's they love their parents, and then all of a sudden it comes into their head, wait a minute, I don't like you anymore, And so that's why they seem to toggle back and forth between the, I don't like my parents, but don't go too far.
Got it. And what tips do you have for parents when this starts happening?
The first thing is when they start to banter, let them banter. And that means argue, but not too much. Don't put your emotion into it. Let them have their say. They need to know that they can be heard. Also have very clear, defined boundaries. Make sure that you put them in place, and the best part is to let them play a role in developing those boundaries. Let them have a say in it. So there's two things that parents really can do to get started.
All right, and they have their own opinions. How do you let them be a free thinker, kind of think on their own without influencing them?
When you're with them, rather than lecturing them, telling them what they should do, ask more open-ended questions to help them discover what desires and ideas and creativity they have inside. Let that come out through your interaction daily by asking them open-ended questions to see what they want to say. And
you just spoke about boundaries, but it's important to have it with cell phones, with curfews, and I'm sure that comes into play dating as well.
Yeah, and for personally, and some people may be offended by this, that dating should be pushed off as far as possible, and if they still want to date, have the boys or the girls, whichever your situation is, come over and hang out with you in your home where you can monitor them and give them safe places where they can just get to know each other.
All right, very good. Bill, the name of the book again is?
Love, Limits, and Lessons.
And where can we find it?
You can find it on Amazon or most major bookstores.
So just about anywhere.
That's right.
All right, great advice. Thanks so much for being here.
Glad to be here.
All right, up next, party hostess diva Liz Corbett shares 2 easy recipes to start your day out right. Don't go anywhere.
It's okay. You don't need to wear a disguise to sell your old jewelry, silver, or coins to Fast Eddie.
For fast cash on your highest prices paid, MC Fast Eddie in West Hartford and Orange.
This is Jake. Jake just won the Lucky for Life draw game.
What is this hummus?
So now he's trying to live a healthier, safer, and much longer life.
Whoa, easy there, killer.
With Lucky for Life, you can win up to $1,000 a day, every day for life. That's a good reason to stay fit. With Lucky for Life, the longer you live, the more money you get.
Hi, it's Teresa, and I'm here with Lori Green from Elizabeth Richard Gifts, a gift store which specializes in all kinds of items for gracious living.
Hello, Teresa. All of us here at Elizabeth Richard Gifts can assist you with making decisions on accessorizing your home easily to freshen its look for every season. Plus, we offer unique gift-giving ideas for every occasion and every age.
Check out all the useful and fun advice from Elizabeth Richard Gifts online at ConnecticutStyle.tv.
As you may know, we have a lot of fun making memorable TV commercials.
But the truth be told, we take our business very seriously.
Yes, we do. So stop into Fast 80 today in West Hartford or Orange, Connecticut for fast cash and the highest prices paid.
It's always good to start your day with a healthy breakfast, and here with 2 easy recipes that can save you time and money is party hostess diva Liz Corbett. Liz is also the author of Do-It-Yourself Wedding Cakes for Under 50 Bucks. I like the sound of that.
Yes.
Pretty cool. But today we're talking breakfast and a healthy breakfast at that.
We are. There are a lot of better options for you than the usual sweets or croissant donut type of thing. You want to start out with breakfast. Don't ever skip it because it sets a foundation for eating healthy for the rest of the day.
Okay.
And you want something that's packed with protein and fiber, things that are going to fill you up. And I'm actually going to put you right to work.
Good.
I've got
Show me
everything
what to
all
do.
laid out. This particular recipe, we're just going to call it the Good Morning Muffin, and it's got lots of great things in it. So we're going to start out with our dry ingredients, and we have your basic all-purpose flour. You could substitute some whole wheat flour for maybe half of that, so you get a little extra goodness in there. And then we're going to use brown sugar instead of the white refined because molasses is very, very good for you. A lot of people don't realize that.
Okay.
It's got a lot of vitamins and potassium.
I didn't know
things
that.
like that. And then, of course, we have our rolled oats, which, of course, are an excellent source of fiber, and fiber fills you up.
Okay.
Raisins are a natural sweetener. They're awesome.
Sweetness.
And then we have nutmeg. So this is basically going to taste and smell like an oatmeal cookie.
It does already, yeah.
So we've got a little bit of nutmeg going on in here, and we've got baking powder, baking soda, if you want to go ahead and get that in. And we're going to mix our dry ingredients together first. And I'm actually going to have you try this thing here.
Oh, okay,
I don't know if you know what this is.
It's a pastry cutter,
yes,
right?
Yes, it is. It's a pastry blender. It's like having a whole lot of knives, and you're doing it exactly right. Just want to get those dry ingredients in there, kind of break up the brown sugar a little bit.
Okay.
And then we're going to add to that, and I'll get this going over here. We've got some skim milk. So you want to go with your dairy, you want to go with the lower fats.
Sure.
And we are going to add to that olive oil. Now, you wouldn't think of olive oil for your baked goods, but it really has a very mild flavor, and you're not going to notice it all that much. And of course, that's a better healthy fat option for you than some of the other. Yes, absolutely. So we're going to do a tablespoon of this, and we're going to mix in an egg, and you can do the organic or the free-range eggs. And of course, free-range are the chickens that run around outside. The happy chickens. That's what that means. Free-range, and they're digging around in the dirt and eating bugs and all that good stuff, which makes for a healthier egg.
Okay.
So that's what that means. And we're going to get these dry ingredients. Looks like you did a great job there.
Okay.
And we've got our wet ingredients here. And I'm going to let you go ahead and put that right in there. Now you can grab the spoon.
All right.
And while you're mixing that together with a spoon, we're going to also add about 4 medium carrots shredded.
Ooh.
Now, I'm all for taking shortcuts if you want to, so you can just go ahead and
Buy them
cheat
pre-shredded,
and get yourself
right?
a little bag of shredded carrots. So this is going to look maybe hard to mix together, but it will actually incorporate, and you won't have too much trouble getting that in there.
Okay. Now, Liz, do you have the oven preheated?
We do. It's going to be 400.
Okay.
And it takes, depending on the size of the muffin tin you're going to use, these are just a little standard size right there, which used to be the standard muffin size. Now they're like
huge, right?
Gargantuan. They're huge, which of course is going to add more calories. So we're just going to kind of guesstimate here. This is how I cook. That's 1 carrot, 2 carrots, 3 carrots, and you're getting a little arm workout there.
I am. This is great.
And 4. And the last magic ingredient for these awesome muffins that are going to fill you up is a banana. And of course, bananas have potassium, which are great for leg cramps, by the way.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
If you suffer from leg cramps, you are probably lacking potassium. Eat yourself a banana every day. When you're baking with bananas, you want to go for the ugliest one you can find.
The darkest, right?
The darkest, scariest looking one you can get, because they're going to be sweeter and they're going to be moister to add into your baked goods. That's perfect.
Oh, good.
And here's a fun little tip about when you peel a banana. A lot of us go this way.
Yes.
Well, here's what we do. We imitate the primates. They always go from the other end, and you want to know why? There's
Tell us.
no strings when you go this way.
Get out! Wow.
Now you're always like picking off that little, what is that there? So I just learned this. I thought it was very cool.
Liz. I love that.
So we got 1 ugly banana going in there. And you can mash this up on a cutting board with a fork. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it right in.
Okay.
We're going to go for the country look, kind of rustic. And if you're not fond of bananas or you want to do something different, you could absolutely substitute some natural applesauce.
Oh,
just go ahead and get them in those little prepackaged things if you want to, but get the ones without the sugar, because we don't need it. And this is how we build our healthy muffin. It's very easy. And you know what? You make these up, and if you want to, you could put half in the freezer. and just pop them out and warm them up in the microwave, and you have them all ready to go. And you're avoiding the drive-through, you're saving money, you're saving time.
Breakfast.
And these are actually dense enough where they're great for kids, even in the car, like if you really are in a rush, hand them this in a little paper towel and you're good to go. They're not going to make a whole lot of mess. So these are going to go into your muffin tin at 400 for about 12-15 minutes, and that is one option for a healthy breakfast.
Great, and the next one we actually put in the microwave,
this
which I
one
love.
is super cool, and this one is really fun to do. Sometimes you don't want to make a whole dozen of something, you just want one.
Sure.
Or you don't want to waste, and besides the fact that this is just fun because you're doing it in the microwave, we're going to do a different healthy oil this time, and this one is coconut oil, and I just couldn't even tell you all the stuff that coconut oil does for you. I would just recommend, look it up.
Google it.
A lot of benefits for ingesting coconut oil and benefits for oil on your skin, your hair. It's just fantastic stuff. So it's very gelled. It's kind of thick like a, you know, a lard or a Crisco. I'm going to do about a teaspoon of that in here. And I always go generous.
Okay.
And we're going to get good and messy. And we're going to pop this in the microwave, which is over here. So I'm just going to disappear for a moment. Chat amongst yourselves.
I've never used coconut oil before, but this is pretty cool. Let's actually put some pictures up. We have some of your cakes, Liz. We'll take a look at those right now. They're coming. All right. Oh, that's cute. We have the artist one.
Yes.
The paint.
Fun with fondant.
I love it.
That's one of the
Ooh,
wedding cakes I've done.
Cake. I love that. Oh, that's fabulous. A pocketbook?
That is actually a purse. Yes.
How cool is
Totally
that?
edible.
Wow. I love that.
And that was perfect timing. So we are going to...
So the coconut oil, can I get liquidy?
It does. You see it's going to start to melt a little bit.
Okay.
And the reason for doing that first is it's going to kind of grease the mug up a little bit so that it doesn't stick. And then all that goes into this is ground flax seeds. If you're not familiar with flax seeds, another fantastic option for protein and for oil, believe it or not.
Okay.
And it takes 1/4 cup. Now, good news for gluten-free people. There's no flour in this recipe at all.
Fantastic.
So if you need a gluten-free option, I'm going to have you put that right into there to show how easy this is.
We have about 30 seconds
all right.
left.
And we've got cinnamon, baking powder, a little bit of salt. We're going to get 1 egg in there.
You can microwave all this?
You can microwave this. All right, we're going to go super fast now.
Just
so we
mix
give
it
that
all
a
together.
stir. And it's going to go into a standard microwave for about 50 seconds. And I don't know if we can accomplish that or not, but let's give it a try.
We'll see at the end of the show, but it's a great, easy option. You can make 1, 2 at a time. Fantastic. Liz, thank you so much for all the tips.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up next, living with and overcoming mental illness, David Fitzpatrick shares his story when Connecticut Style returns. Don't go anywhere.
When you've got a concern, I want to know about it.
When you've got a problem, I'm going to try and solve it.
I work for News 8.
Which means I work for you.
Who's got your back? News 8.
Progress. Oh. Oh, oh. Oh. What do you know? Oh, oh. Bacon? Oh, 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 oh.
With 40 delicious Progresso soups at 100 calories or less, there are plenty of reasons people are saying, Progress oh. Share your story for a chance to win a Progresso makeover in Hollywood. Go to facebook.com/Progresso to enter.
We had no interest in representing corporations or institutions. We wanted to represent people.
We treat every one of our clients with dignity, with respect, and every one of our clients gets personalized attention, and that's very important to us and who we are as a business.
We believe in the people we represent, and we will do everything to protect them, not just as individuals, but as families.
If you've been hurt, injured, or in an accident, call Buckley and Win.
Living a healthy life with a mental illness is not easy, but it certainly is possible. In his book, Sharp, a Memoir, David Fitzpatrick talks about his 2-decade struggle of self-injury and bipolar depression and what it took to reclaim his life. David Fitzpatrick joins us now on Connecticut Style. So, David, you grew up in Guilford, nearby, but you had a severe mental illness. I guess tell us a little bit what was going on.
Right.
year out of college, a year out of Skidmore College, I moved to Boston, and I had been struggling with depression for about a year. I just had a breakdown in Guilford one weekend, kind of lost it. And I had been injuring myself, cutting myself. And from there, it really just kind of plummeted into a long pit for 17 years. And I didn't come out of it till I was 41 years old, really.
And how did that happen at age 41?
It was pretty amazing. My story is such a humbling story because so many people lent a hand, you know. So many people gave a damn and reached out. So it was family, it was some broken patients at the different hospitals. It was 2 expert doctors that really kind of pinpointed my anguish inside all of my, you know, layers of fat and layers of inertia, layers of laziness, and just really got me excited about life again. Got me wanting to read and, you know, find girls, find a wife and everything.
Well, that's great. It also says here that you have a lot of friendships, including Wally Lamb. How did that happen?
Yeah, really, serendipity was in the air, I guess. Really? It was 92, and I wrote a letter to him after reading She's Come Undone, his great first novel. And the protagonist in that book was named Dolores Price. And so I told him that I wanted to have a dinner party and invite all these famous literary characters to a house and have his Dolores Price along for the ride. So he was most moved by that he gave me a call when I got out of the hospital and just said, you know, hey, this is Wally, and it was
that's got to be
it was a
motivation
wonderful
in
thing.
itself, sure.
It was like talking with him maybe started entering my life, you know, maybe started entering my conversation. If that man is interested in me, maybe I can turn my life around. Maybe I can write. Maybe I can. All these maybes started blooming.
All right, and then what made you decide to write the memoir?
Just because I've always been journaling, you know, ever since I was in all the hospitals, I was writing, I was journaling. I was an English major at Skidmore, although I was too shy to ever take any creative writing courses because I was afraid of exposing myself, you know. I was really, really introspective and lonely. But it was a healing thing to write it, you know. I mean, when I look at it now, I wrote it, of course, because I'm a writer and because it can help people. And I kind of look at it as kind of a therapeutic, pay it forward kind of, if you will, you know, something to help people who are lost.
Yeah, and so we read about your journey.
Right.
Where does it start? From a young age?
It starts from, it talks about having magical summers on the Cape. You know, it started out as a really good summer when I was 20 on Martha's Vineyard with a bunch of Guilford friends. But then my brain really started splintering a little. I went back to college and I had some roommates that were difficult, you know, that were kind of hazing me for a long time. So I kind of fell into a very passive situation, you know, and so...
we'll have to read the book then.
Yes, you have to read the book.
So where can we find it?
You can find it at any Barnes & Noble, any Amazon, and I just wanted to say I went to Fairfield University for their MFA program, and an exceptional program. So
very good. Yeah. Thanks so much for being here.
Okay, thanks.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
The cooking store of the future is here and now open. It's the all-new Chef's Equipment Megastore on the Boston Post Road in Orange. You've never seen anything like it. Connecticut's mega selection of cookware, bakeware, cutlery, kitchen electrics, and
gadgets, and more gadgets. More than you can imagine.
Plus cooking demos, classes, and an executive chef on staff. Come in for our mega grand opening, Saturday, January 26th. Door prizes for every customer.
When you think cooking, think chef.
Huh. It says here that Cheerios helps lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
That's true. But you still have to go to the gym.
The one and only Cheerios.
This is how Mommy learned.
And now, you.
Let me tell you some of the reasons people get into trouble with credit cards. A job loss or salary cut, an unexpected expense, a divorce. At Consolidated Credit, we understand that debt problems are not about overspending. It's about emergencies and unexpected situations. There are a lot of ways to get into trouble with debt. There's only one trusted way to get out. Consolidated Credit.
Call 1-800-774-8296 or go to SaveMe2.com.
Here's a touching story about love and letters that have survived decades. David Muir has the story.
There are hundreds of them. Handwritten letters from the 1940s sent while Lloyd Michael was serving in the Army Air Corps in Europe during World War II. Love letters he would send home to his young wife and the heartfelt notes she would send in return.
Sweetheart, I love you with all my heart.
Your devoted hubby, Mike. God bless you, Marion.
Tender words safely kept locked in a trunk. But in the 1970s, a thief broke into their home and the trunk was just part of what was stolen. Gone were all of those words they shared during the war.
Our love letters, how anybody could steal our love letters.
What they didn't know was that decades later, the letters had ended up in the hands of a stamp collector. And when he died, the collector's son began searching for those two names signed at the bottom of those letters, Lloyd and Marion, finding Lloyd through his military service number. And Lloyd remembers that call.
He says, I have something of yours. I've got a box of letters.
Marion had sent Lloyd a letter nearly every day during the war, and every day Marion would look in the mail for confirmation her husband was alive.
It just brings back all those memories and the tension and the not knowing.
It's very emotional for us.
The Michaels were just 18 and 19 when they married. They now have 4 children, 8 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren. And tonight they sent us this new photograph marking their 70th anniversary on New Year's Eve. And on their 70th, a vow to read every one of those letters.
If the Lord lives us enough time, we might read them all.
Touching story. I love that. All right, we're back here in the kitchen with all of our guests. We have David and his wife, Amy Fitzpatrick, and Bill and Liz Corbett. Bill, Liz, tell us how we finished off this microwave muffin.
This super cool thing. Look how this popped right up. It's almost like a little plum pudding. Look how tall that is. And you could just,
easy.
One serving. It's huge though. Pop it in half. Some healthy options for you. Maple syrup, a natural sugar, and a sugarless all-fruit spread is a better option for you. So a super sweet, yummy, healthy way to start.
All right, everybody say goodbye. Take care, everyone.